What is up, everyone, and welcome back to That's What You Get Wednesdays here from Brooklyn with me, Matthew LaStallion. I am coming to you today just before Thanksgiving in a very great place, very happy, super grateful. And that's where yesterday's episode of Too Easy Tuesday, where we're talking about effectual and practical praise methods and the thought process behind it and why it's important. So today for That's What You Get Wednesdays, I wanted to talk about a more generalized approach in the thought process when it comes to your life. I think where a lot of people get tripped up with the show, with this show and with what I'm bringing is through the title when I say burn your boats, that you've got to drop what you've got and like immediately say you've always wanted to be an author and you're sitting at a cubicle working your 9 to 5. I'm not telling you to pack your box up today and to go home and to sit down and start writing. The second part, yes, absolutely. That is what I am fully endorsing and what I'm hoping that you can do. Because it's all about action. It's all about that first step. But I'm not saying that you have to set fire to your life to destroy it. It's the energy behind it. We're looking at the energy behind the idea that we want to look at the things that are making us comfortable enough to the point where we're no longer pursuing the things that motivate us and drive us and really pull us out of our comfort zones to get that feeling of accomplishment. And it's very possible to get the feeling of accomplishment in an overarching system that doesn't necessarily motivate you or inspire you. That's kind of been my story with the military. I've never grew up thinking, I wanted to be a soldier, I want to serve. But once I got in, the Army does a really good job of setting benchmarks and goals and stuff that are very attainable if you're just willing to put the work in to do it. And so many people show up and they're not willing to do that. And so me being willing to do that has led to a lot of success in the career that I've had thus far. And so as I look forward, I really consider what kind of life I want to lead and what kind of life I don't want to lead. I think both of those are important, and it sounds like the same thought, but it's really not. And if you're not taking the time to sit down and really think about that across multiple spectrums of your life, it's not just the profession and the workplace that we're trying to grow and to foster and to create more abundance in your life, in its relationships. It's intimate, personal, business, all of it. It's your life. It's because I think many of us are in a place where a certain tide will raise one of our boats up, but it won't raise all of them. So we'll be doing really well in our job and our business, but then our family life is suffering, and we see that as kind of a balance. So, I have to give more time. And to an extent that may be true. You may have to put a lot of hours in, but then what are you doing with the time that you have? Are you so exhausted that you're not giving your family the attention and the love that they need? And then what do you expect? What do you expect from your family? 5, 10, 15 years down the road, when this is what you're doing, when your priorities are clearly elsewhere. Are those relationships going to be fostered in the way? Are you going to be the father or the mother or the brother or the sister or the son and daughter that you respect, that you want to be? Are you as good in all aspects of your life as you could be? And if you're not, that's what we're doing here. We're looking to expand, and it's what I'm looking to do for you with you in a partnership. But really the partnership is with yourself. It's really about, when you look in the mirror, who do you expect? What do you expect from who you see? And what are you currently getting? What results are you currently getting? I heard this recently, and it struck me so true. And it's so abundantly obvious that it's kind of silly, but it's so we look at what we're doing. We look at the one of the things that's become very clear to me through recent readings that my wife and I have done. Like I said, we've read Atomic Habits by James Clear, and it's such a phenomenal book. And I reference back to that a lot because he brings up the idea of more structural changes and changes that are more focused on systems versus goals. And so, yes, you have to have a goal. You have to have a bearing, right? Like, you have to know, like, I am going this way. I want to own my own carpentry business. I want to own my own woodworking business. Okay, cool. And so with that, what systems are in place in order to get you there, to get you from A to B? Are those systems effective? What system do I have in place to review those systems? So if I'm doing something, I'm like, okay, every Monday I'm going and buying wood from this place. And after I buy the wood, then I bring it here and I store it there. I'm like, okay, what part of this system is good? What part's working? Do I have to make multiple trips to pick up wood because I don't have enough? My truck isn't big enough, etc., etc. So you create systems that work in your favor, and then you create ways to check on those systems to make sure that you're not just doing something blindly, and you keep it aligned with that overarching goal. It's pretty clear, and it's just more about how we get there, and it's the focus is there versus when we get there. And one of the things that happens, we do a lot of thinking and talking about our goals. If we even get there, I'd say there's a fair amount of people that don't even look at that. So thinking about it is important, but there's a problem that happens with that. There's a good feeling that you get when you talk about your goals, and so when you get that happy feeling, sometimes that can be an issue because then you get the good feeling and you're just like, oh, okay, and I'll just keep talking about it. I'll just keep doing it that way. It's actually in the book The Alchemist that I read, and now I'm reading with my kids. They talk about in there a little bit, and not as clearly as that, but there's a point when Santiago, the main character, meets and is working with with like a crystal salesman, like a glass sales guy. He owns his own little shop, and he talks about, he's like, oh, I only want, they're in Africa, and he's a Muslim, the shopkeeper. And he's like, oh, I've always wanted to go to Mecca, but I don't actually want to go. Like, he straight up tells him, he's like, I don't actually want to go. I just want to think about going because it makes me happy to think about going. And what happens if I go? Then I don't have a goal anymore. And, I mean, that's a whole other issue that we can tackle another day. But it's like, once we get to a goal, we a lot of times on the outset, we look at goals as like this end place. And really, that's why I don't even like goals. I like the idea of benchmarks and using benchmarks for everything because it's just a bench. My goals will never stop. My benchmarks will never stop. And so, like, okay, I hit this benchmark. Okay, now I'm going to the next benchmark. And now I'm going to the next benchmark. And maybe that's a final benchmark for this endeavor. And then that endeavor is done. And then I'm splitting off over here. Or maybe I'm still going there and it's created a new one. So now I have multiple different ladders of benchmarks. It's very possible. So, I don't like goals because goal makes it has like an end state. Like, okay, you got there. And then you might have this feeling of emptiness at the end. But all of this to say, I think it's important to identify where you are not fully satisfied, where your life could be more than it is now. And once you do that, then you can look at your current systems that are in place. Because if you're not where you're at now, then something's wrong with your systems. Like you either don't have a system that you should have, or you need to adjust the system that you are already using and already have in place. And because the current results you're receiving out of life, out of your personal relationships, out of your business relationships, out of your intimate relationships, your wife, your children, your family, all of those current statuses, your financial situation, all are all the perfect result, the perfect result of what you are doing right now. And so, if you are looking for growth and abundance and expansion, then you need to look at those systems and you need to start making changes. And if you don't, then you're going to keep getting the results that you have. So, and if you don't, that's what you get. That's what you get is the same thing that you currently got, and you get what you get, and that's it. So, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Happy holidays. I won't see you again until after Thanksgiving. So I'll be here with Mario Fox. Holy moly, what a conversation. Oh my gosh. This literally, we did it from a distance. He's in Louisiana and I'm here in Georgia, and we did a long distance one, so I should be able to come at this one with video for y'all. This was incredible. This was an incredible interview. Like, one of the most influential conversations, one of the most like inspirational, in the sense that like he was doing good in life and then just went soaring down to rock bottom and literally did like the pick myself up by the bootstraps, take action, and create more wealth and abundance in his life than he probably ever could have imagined. And it's phenomenal. Like, you have to listen to this interview. It is incredible. Please do it. I will be coming at it with you this Friday. I should be coming out today also. It may even beat this out. So the preview, the sneak peek may already be out. If not, it's going to come out soon hereafter. But again, I love you guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate that you keep coming back and you keep following. Please, if you like the show, share it. That's the biggest ask I can make of you is get it out there, spread the word, and I'm going to keep bringing this content for you. I love you all very much. Thank you, and have an amazing Thanksgiving.